Welcome to the next part of this eSXI host setup demo video series. What I'm going to do in this video is add an A record for my eSXI host to my Windows domain. I'm also going to add a second NIC and a hard drive, and then finally configure that NIC inside DCUI. So I can show you all what all that looks like. So let's go start with, and of course I could probably do this while my eSXI, I could add the A record to my DNS zone while my host was up. But eventually I would have to shut it down anyway to add a new disk and add a new hard drive. So I've decided to shut it down. And what I will do here, it is powered on. Let me maximize this right quick. Click there. Hit my Control-Alt-Delete button. I'm going to log into my domain. Okay. So I'm going to pause while I log into my. I'm going to have to give it a minute probably while I do everything else. The fun thing about this, the reason I have this system tray down here is that I like watching what these things are doing. Actually, you know what? Oh yeah. I'm working on 3, not 1. One of the things I'm eventually going to do is add eSXi 3 to my vCenter server. So wait for my server manager to come up. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do it. Actually, now that it's shut down, I can't actually do this. While I'm waiting for my server manager to decide that it is ready to work on me, I'm going to add a couple pieces of hardware. The first piece of hardware that I'm going to add is another network header. But actually, let me look at the model. Let me look at these as a model. Custom VMNet2, good. And I could actually look at my VMNets here in my virtual network editor. Let's see what's going on with VMNet2 right quick. Check there. Server manager is coming up. Okay, VMNet2 is host only, enabled, natted with, okay, in the 115 range. Okay, that's good. That's fine. So that's what I'll use. And again, I'm waiting for, this is actually server 19. There's not a whole lot of difference really between server 16 and server 19. Server 19 is slightly more optimized for virtualization, Hyper-V, etc., etc. Now it's going to be a little bit slow because I've got it running, poor thing, on only 2 gigs of RAM. But it's mostly just there to be a domain controller and a DNS server. It does next to nothing. So do this. So yeah, I'm going to put that in VMNet2. Now that I'm quite certain of what I'm doing, I'm going to do a network adapter. What I'm going to do is custom put it in VMNet2, which is natted host only, and click OK. We'll deal with that in a minute. What we're essentially going to do is we're going to take that VMNet2 and turn it into a VM kernel NIC. And then add a hard disk. And I'm going to make this a hard drive, yes. Make it a SCSI. New virtual hard disk. Next, I'm going to make it 50 gigs. I'm going to store it as, let me hold on. I'm checking my instructions right quick. Yeah, and I'm going to store it as a single disk. That will probably make it a bit easier to clone later. Yes. Finish. Okay. So now, while that's waiting, now that I've been waiting strategically, okay, so what I can do now is I can go to my DNS. I'm going to add an A record here. Okay, so I've got my forward lookup zone for my Cyber Penguin domain. New host. I'm going to call this eSXI-67-AP-3, and I'm going to do that 10.37.15 because, as you can see, I've got 10, 20, 30. I'm going to make this one 15. The other one is going to be 25. And add host. Okay, so now when I ping from this or any other host, when I attempt to resolve this, it's going to work. And this one is actually my, now you'll notice that this one is, some of these are time-stamped. My Win10 client is in my DHCP pool. So this is actually all I need to do with this. Now I can fire this up again. Boom. And let's take a look at my, yeah, I am pushing the limits of what I can do on this system. I actually I actually released a bunch of RAM a while ago just by shutting down all my web browsers. Now, the reason I'm doing all of this ahead of time is to save myself the trouble later of cloning this thing, of cloning it in its most basic form, and then doing all this hardware addition again. Now, the problem, once I clone this thing, if I clone this thing as in its current state, I may create a problem in which I have two devices using the same data store, essentially. And we'll talk about data stores in a bit. So I may have to deconflict that. But I'm going to pause, get into this, and then let's configure that second NIC as a VM kernel NIC. So be right back. Okay, so I can go to Configure Management Network Adapters. Now I've got VMNIC 2, and I can hit space and enter. And its IP configuration is cancel. Actually, so I basically, what I've done is with this VMNIC 2, I've enabled it. Let me do my DNS configuration. Good. Escape. Now I can test. DNS suffixes. Good. It retained the local, the Cyber Penguin adapter option. Okay. I'm going to apply changes and restart. Yes. Now I can test. Actually, let's take that 2. 10.13.37.2. 10.13.37.30, which is my vCenter server. 10.13. 37.10, which is one of my other systems, and enter. Let's see if it can resolve these. Good. I may actually have to put the Cyber Penguin in to see if the... Okay, and it resolved the hostname. Good. Okay, good. I'm going to turn on some troubleshooting options. I'm going to enable the eSXI shell. I'm going to enable SSH as well. We could also restart the management agents if we want to. The management agents are what help vCenter control the eSXI hosts. Now, what I can do, I cannot clone this thing while it is live, so I have to shut it down. Escape. So I've done everything I want to do. I can look at its support information. I can view some system logs, various things I might want to do. But anyway, escape. And now I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to pause this. Oh, you don't need me to watch you don't need to watch me shut this down. So I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to shut this down. The next thing I'm going to do is clone this thing, so you can see how that process works. Thanks for watching.